It's review time. Mortal Kombat 2. Just recently saw the film in theaters, with this being my non-spoiler review. You know, after all these years, I've never really actually questioned Mortal Kombat's title, considering that in the word combat, it's spelled with a K, but technically in grammar terms, it's actually supposed to be spelled with a C. I know they mentioned that in the first film as well, like they just poke fun of it, but I don't know why. I just never really questioned it or never thought of it that way. Like, I guess I always just assumed that it was spelled with a K. I mean, I don't know. Does anyone else feel that way? I don't know, maybe it's just me, who knows. But anyways, this is a direct sequel to the 2021 reboot, sorta-ish, I'll get to that in a bit, and I'm already assuming that you've already seen the first film, where at the end, we see our fighters going to Los Angeles to look for a very familiar person from the franchise. This is where the story starts. The movie stars Karl Urban as Johnny Cage, a washed-up martial arts actor that's been recruited by Raiden and Sonya Blade to join the Earthrealm fighters in a tournament for the sake of their universe against Outworld's leaders led by the evil Shao Kahn. If you guys like what you see here, please give this video a like, share, and subscribe here to the Obsessive Movie Geek for more content like this. Anyways, back to the review. From the 2021 film, you'll probably remember in my last review, basically where I mentioned that I was disappointed with the film due to the story's direction. And this time, the director is back on board with this project, but with a different writer this time around. And I really can't say that I was eager to watch MK2 this time coming in. After the first film gave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, I just had no big anticipation for it because it didn't even make my top 10 anticipated films this year. But this was the first time that we were getting a Mortal Kombat sequel ever since that abysmal Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Mother! You're alive! Too bad you will die.
Too bad your planned sequel will die. Now, setting the standard for it to be better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation ain't really saying that much, but to be honest, I really did like Mortal Kombat 2. I actually thought it was a much better improvement from the first film. Changing both the character direction and just actually listening to the criticism, and guess what? It worked. What? But this movie also has some very dumb moments, but it's entertaining as hell. Now, there's a difference between when a film is acting dumb and then ends up looking dumb in the worst way possible, and then there's actually films that have dumb moments, but they come off as very fun and entertaining and likable. And that's what this film did. There was a lot of over-the-top fighting sequences, which probably my favorite fighting scene in the entire film, as seen in the trailers, was actually Kung Lao versus Liu Kang. That match did not disappoint. There is a great usage of martial arts mixed in with CGI when it's used at the right time, and also the fatalities are probably even bloodier than the first film. This is a movie that actually embraces that video game aspect to what Mortal Kombat is. And honestly, I know everyone else said this online, but I'm going to say this as well on my channel. This is basically what we should have gotten in the first film. This time around, the audience's point of view is centered around Johnny Cage, who is a video game character. But I have to admit, Karl Urban looks like he was just born to play this role. At first, when I heard that Karl Urban was going to play Johnny Cage, I was a little hesitant at first. I gotta admit on that, because I honestly thought that the character of Johnny Cage, at least in my perspective, I would have just imagined his character to be a little bit much more younger, if that makes sense. But damn, Karl proved me wrong. He's got that charismatic, charm, yet arrogant personality to him, which fits for the comedic relief just exactly how the video game character is. But if Johnny Cage is not the main character, I'll have to say that Katana is the heart and soul of this film. Arguably, people could actually say that Katana is actually the main character of this movie. Or maybe it's Johnny and Katana, and maybe it's just a bit of both. There is a lot of time dedicated to her character and her arc from when we see her backstory early on in the film, and you're able to understand where she's coming from, and then she is very much a sympathetic character that you understand why she does the things that she has to do. She may have not gotten that much of a marketing push that I was able to see, but I can just tell you for damn sure that Katana fans and cosplayers are really gonna get their money's worth with her character. And don't worry, Cole Young, you're still in the film. Trust me, we'll take good care of you. But in all seriousness, the reason why I said that this is sorta a direct sequel to the first film is because this movie doesn't actually directly reference or give any callbacks to the first film, and it's almost like they're trying to ignore the first film as a whole. Given why? Because since the first one wasn't that well received, and also very debatable that you don't even have to watch the first film to understand what's going on in this one. I mean, there are a little bit of references. It's not gonna ignore it 100%. You'll probably have some answers in the first film, is like who got killed off in the first film and now who's coming back in this film, but really, we don't really care that much. It's not really that essential. Now, don't get me wrong, I can actually see where the critics are coming from in terms of the paper-thin plot, too many characters in which none of them have a lot of character development, a very simplistic plot, but also so many things happening all at once that it doesn't actually give you a chance to breathe. And I could tear this film apart in that old negativity way, but really, knowing Mortal Kombat standards, I'm not gonna. For fans of this franchise, what you're expecting out of this film is exactly what you're gonna get. Your favorite characters being brought on the big screen, live action, in full costume, kicking ass, and then just having some very gory moments. And I'm pretty sure that's just what the fans want. It is almost halfway through 2026, and I gotta admit, out of all the films that I've watched this year, Mortal Kombat 2 is actually probably the most fun I've had watching a movie all year, for now. For my final score, I'm gonna give Mortal Kombat 2 a 7 out of 10. It actually made me want to learn more about the lore of this franchise in general. So I started looking up, like, on my own personal time. I started winning on to like gameplays and people doing like video essays about it, and then some. This is actually the first time I won.